What's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Rocket Live. Happy Tuesday to you all. And I am here. I've got a great guest I'm going to be bringing on very soon. We're going to have an awesome conversation. But before we do, just want to take care of some of the things at the top of the show. First of all, welcome everybody who's watching live right now. As we go along, please feel free to leave comments or ask questions as we go along, and we will answer them as we see them. Absolutely. And for those of you that will be listening to the audio version of this podcast, welcome as well. Please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button wherever you are listening to this audio version. And if you're watching the video version, hit subscribe wherever you're watching this, whether it's on LinkedIn or YouTube right now. And make sure that you use all the links that we put on there, especially my guests' links, so that way you can get connected as we move along here. Another thing I want to also let everybody know is I want to thank my sponsor, my official sponsor of the show, which is Zarb.com. And Kerry is a really great friend of mine, and she is just really killing it with a new business that she's got going on. So if you are looking to become a better podcaster, well, she's got everything that you need. She does podcast marketing. She keeps it simple and helps you grow your audience. And if you want to go over and visit her right now, she is an amazing podcast marketing coach. You want to head over to kerryzarb.com and click that resources tab. And once you go over there, you'll be able to sign up for her 7 days of simple podcast marketing course, as well as download the ultimate podcast and marketing planner. And also, she'll help you start your podcast today. So podcasting does not need to be some mysterious, ethereal thing here. You can actually start right away, and Kerry's here to help you. So go over to kerryzarb.com and get signed up today on her 7 days of simple podcast marketing. Now, with that, I've got my very special guest in the studio, Mr. David Seth Cohen. How are you, my friend? How you doing?
Great to see you, man. Thanks for having me on the show today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, really happy to have you on today, man. This is really cool. And you know what? It's great because as I do the shows, it's scheduled. So I basically, how it works, I send everybody a little calendar link to schedule themselves on the show. And I have so many of these books so far out in advance that sometimes I often I'm like, whoa, cool. This is like, I mean, everybody I have on is like awesome, because I'm always like, whoa, this person's coming on a show and this person's coming on a show. It's just like, it's really wild. And so when I saw your name come up, I was like, oh man, Dave is going to be coming on a show. This is going to be great because, your background, David, our backgrounds are so similar. You are a producer, a director, a writer, an editor, an actor. My background for years was in producing and directing and editing myself with Gray Sky Films. You've got a ton of stuff going on. I gotta ask you a question though, because I am like, and this is what happens as you get a little bit older, your memory starts getting a little bit fuzzier. How did we connect? How did you and I get connected?
We this was like months ago that we had our conversation. It was actually on Lunch Club, that website. I haven't really used it in a long time. You were probably one of the last people I actually connected with through that website, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
that's how we met. We had like a great conversation. I remember like chatting a little bit about your background and how we kind of like had similar paths and in the creative world, and then you mentioned your podcast and we're like, oh, you want to come on? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And you were like, oh, well, it's months away. So I was like, oh, okay. And I booked it, and that was it, So it's been a long time since we spoke, but Lunch Club.
Yeah, so that's wild because it's like, it's so funny because it's usually like everybody that comes on here, it's usually like, and so I met this person on Clubhouse, and I met this person on Clubhouse. I met them on LinkedIn. It occurred to me, and it's like, I forgot like Lunch Club, because Lunch Club was something that, and for anybody that doesn't know what Lunch Club is, so real quick, just to set it up for everyone. So Lunch Club is this pretty cool, it's almost like a matchmaking for networking for business purposes. I want to stress that. And and so you can sign up and usually get like referred to from somebody else who's on. And what's kind of cool is it pairs you up with people to meet who, you create a profile and it's about similar interests and things like that. Who would you like to meet? What would you like to talk about in terms of business, or, just share ideas, things like that. And and it kind of pairs you up. So it sends you a daily email. Not that this is an ad for Lunch Club right now, but just to let you guys
Turn
know.
it into one though.
Yeah, and but it sends you an email, which is but it's cool because it does get you to meet people that you wouldn't normally meet, and especially during lockdown,
Yeah.
when no one was going out and everybody was doing everything virtually, it was a really cool way to like meet people outside of my network and even outside of like the New York, New Jersey area. I'm in New Jersey. This is where I'm from. So I'm meeting people from all over the country and all that. And it was very cool. I, like
Yeah.
you, I haven't done it as much anymore, but it is cool. And I'm glad
Yeah.
that we connected.
Yeah, it's funny. The furthest away from where I live
Yeah.
that I had spoken to somebody was another filmmaker in Amsterdam,
Oh,
which
wow.
was actually really cool. Yeah, no, it's I really I thought the people that I met on there were high quality people. Everyone was really cool. In fact, I keep in touch with a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of people that I met. One guy, I'm in the process of trying to pitch a couple television shows with.
Hmm.
Another person who was like an ad exec. We tried to pitch a client together, and so I think I think Lunch Club is it's a great place to meet somebody. I would highly recommend it. In fact, I should probably go back on. I just haven't had the time lately. So
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and that is something. It's funny. So this is probably a universe both telling us that you know what, you guys should get back on Lunch Club because you both connected on here, and here we are. We're on the podcast, so there's definitely a lot of cool people, and yes, and like you, there's definitely a lot of folks I've met that I've stayed connected with on Lunch
yeah,
Club. So, not that I love now Lunch Club needs to become an official sponsor of the show. Now that I just gave them like a
I was just gonna say they should be paying you money for this, man.
yeah, seriously. I mean, what the
Uh,
heck?
hey,
Uh,
I'm available to be their spokesperson if they'd like.
That's right. There you go. Listen, you got listen, Lunch Club. You got two viable people on here who would be advocates and brand ambassadors for you. So
Absolutely, hit
hit
us
us up.
up.
Hit us up. So David, I want yeah, show me the money.
Show me the money. Yeah,
I want to talk a little bit about your background because you are obviously, like I said, you and I share very similar backgrounds in the sense of coming from film, video. I never really was an actor. I see that you act, you write. I'm not a very good writer. You've done independent films, you've done branded video content where you've been hired and worked for businesses, agencies, things of that nature. So yeah, man, talk about it because I saw in your bio, which I really loved, and I wanted to talk was because you were saying that you got your little Fisher-Price pixel camera,
yeah,
which I remember that, and I know
yeah.
a friend of mine, he used that. I actually still thinks he has his or
Wow.
has one. Those things are wild, man. Like they're
Yeah.
great. There was that vampire movie that came out years ago with Christopher Walken and I think Lily Taylor or somebody like that. And it was all shot, or most of it was shot on the Fisher, or the portion of it was shot on the Fisher Price camera, the Pixel camera.
Wow.
I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of it, but
The
anyway,
the the PL the PLX Fisher-Price PLX
yeah,
something. It shot to cassette tapes.
that's right.
Yeah. I mean, I was a kid. I remember, parents would take you to Toys R Us and, you'd go down the aisle where like everything was in the glass. You know what I
Yep,
mean? Like with all the expensive
yep,
stuff in
the
the
expensive
glass.
stuff.
And I remember every time I would pass that thing, I was like, I want that. I want that. And so I saved up like all my gift money for, birthday and Hanukkah that I would get from like family members,
Yeah,
saved it up, and then eventually had the money to finally buy that camera. And it was great. I mean, I think it was like $100 at the time, but back in the 80s, $100 to a young kid was like a ton of money.
yeah, it was.
It took me a long time to save up for that. And I finally got it. And I was like, I remember shooting movies with my friends on like in front of my parents' house. And it was great. It was just a great little camera. Yeah.
Yeah, so talk about when you got bit by the bug, man. I always love it because I always tell the story about how like watching Star Wars when I was a kid. I mean, back in the 70s was when, I mean, I didn't realize it then, but I would say that's kind of when I was like, you know, wow, I want like this is awesome. I want to make this kind of magic. And I
It's
feel like
funny.
create a bug was like ignited in me then.
It's funny you mentioned like Star Wars. So when I was a kid, I, probably, oh man, like first, second grade, whatever it was, I was born in 76. So Star Wars, Superman, like those movies came out like right around like 78, I think it was. Star Wars might have been 77.
Star Wars was 77. I think Superman
Yeah.
was 78, I think.
So,
So yeah.
so back in the early 80s, HBO had those movies kind of running.
Yeah.
And I remember, if you remember back in the VHS days, you could record a movie off of television and then watch it as many times as you want on the VHS. And so I had recorded Star Wars, Superman, Superman 2, like those kind of movies. And as a kid, I would actually trick my parents, like almost like Ferris Bueller, into staying home, like that I was sick, so I could just watch those movies over and over again. And I always used to get away with it. So it was like a marathon of like Star Wars, Superman. At any rate, as I got a little older, my cousin, who was a couple of years older than me, he was very creative also, and we had like a lot of the same interests, and he loved, putting on like shows and whatnot for our family.
Mhm.
So he would come up with these ideas and run them by me, and then we would collaborate in putting them together for our family, whether it be like a little movie that we would record on a VHS camcorder that my uncle owned, or whether it was doing like a fake Broadway show in front of our family. So my cousin, myself, my sister, and my other cousin, my cousin's sister, we would kind of do these shows, for our family. And that kind of got me into the whole, like the whole thing of wanting to entertain, loving entertainment. So, that was kind of the start, I guess, of where I got the bug. But, when you're a kid, you don't realize that it's really a job for people, because you think it's just fun. I never realized that, like, hey, you could actually like work on a movie and make money doing a movie. I didn't even realize that until I got older, to be quite honest. Like, it was just I think maybe when I was like in middle school or a little older than that even, is when I realized, oh, this is actually a career.
Yeah.
Because you're a kid, you don't really know this stuff.
No, I mean, you have no idea. I mean, I'm too busy. I'm playing, making movies in my own head with like all the action figures and stuff that I bought, all my Star Wars toys, and my He-Man figures and Transformers, and and this is it though. This is like, you do that stuff, and you literally make up full movies inside of your head with your props,
with the characters. Yeah. No, so that was kind of how I got the bug. And then, when I was in high school, a good buddy of mine, one of my closest friends who I'd known since he was born, he was an actor and would like audition for a whole bunch of stuff. You would go back and forth. I grew up on Long Island, so he would drive back and forth from Long Island to Manhattan to try and audition and get these roles. And he landed actually a big role in the movie Lost in Yonkers, which was a Neil Simon production. And Neil Simon's an amazing writer. Excuse me. Lost in Yonkers was also a play. At any rate, he landed the role of Jay, who was the narrator of the whole, movie. And he worked with Richard Dreyfuss, Mercedes Rule. I think Stanley Tucci was in the movie.
Oh, wow.
It was a reasonable cast, and so it was at that point, I think, in my life that I realized, oh, this is actually like a business too.
Yeah.
But I never really thought I would get into it necessarily. I still kind of liked, other things at that time in my life. In high school, I just loved sports. I played baseball, soccer, tennis. And I always like loved sports. I didn't really have much direction as to what I wanted to be when I graduated and, got older. In fact, I wasn't much of a student at all. I didn't want to go to college. My dad like pushed me into going. We had a whole like deal that I had to go, or blah, 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 blah. And
right.
So when I was going to, when I went to college, you don't have to declare a major right away, but you have to start thinking about it.
Yeah.
And the one thing I was always good at was getting my point across and, arguing for my how I felt and trying to get my way. I was always good at that. And so everybody was like, oh, you should be a lawyer. You should just, be an attorney. So my major originally was like American National Government in college. And then my junior year, that same friend of mine, Brad, that I had mentioned, he passed away. And when he passed away that same year, that same semester, I happened to be taking an intro to film class. And I don't know what it was, but with him passing and this intro to film class where I made like this short film, and the first time I saw the cut from one angle to the next, I was hooked, and I decided to change my major, to the dismay of my parents, to mass communications with a concentration in film and television. And then that was pretty much it,
I was going to say, even that, as far as college goes, it's like, that's exactly sort of the same thing as the like the major I took in college was communications with an emphasis in film production or film or whatever the heck they called it. So it was a bachelor's degree in communications with this like emphasis on film, because I think you could go like, the track was you could do communications, so you could do TV production, you could do journalism, film, and I think radio was the other one. I think there was
and I think it was even also public speaking in the mass communications.
It may have been. So
depends on what school you went to,
Yeah.
No, but so I got into film and television. That was my mass communications, concentration with film and television. I did a couple of projects. The first film I ever produced was pretty funny. We were told to go shoot a dream. So, hey, back to my Superman roots, I had this idea where like I was in a fraternity. So I had some of the pledges come over and I had them as my actors. And one of the kids was sleeping, and like in his dream, some guy comes and burglarizes the house, like tries to steal stuff. And all of a sudden this kid flies in as Superman, comes and saves the day. And it's funny. So I shoot the whole film.
Right.
And I go to the lab, because back then you had to shoot film. It was actual film.
Yeah.
I go to the lab to get my stuff. I bring it to the edit room. You have to run it through this like projector. Nothing came out. It was all dark.
Oh no.
I didn't use the proper film lights. I just used like regular room lights, and you need real lighting for film. It's not the same.
Yeah.
So at the time I happened to own a video camera that I'd also purchased. And I went to my teacher and I said, hey, like nothing came out. Yeah, my film didn't come out. Can I shoot this? I was like, can I shoot this on my video camera? And he said, I'll let you do it, but I'm going to drop you a grade, so you can't get an A. And I said, all right, no problem. Fine.
Yeah.
So he let me shoot it. I reshot the whole thing with my video camera. Didn't need the same lighting, so it was whatever. And I ended up getting a B. So that was my first film. And after that, it just kept going from there. I mean, I was so dedicated to the actual major that I took a Saturday morning 8 a.m. directing for film class.
Wow.
And like I lived in what was the fraternity house at the time.
Yeah.
So literally Friday nights were massive parties. Here I am sleeping in the room, trying to sleep with the door closed, because I have an 8 a.m. class. So everybody's blasting music, partying downstairs. It was crazy, man.
Crazy. 8 a.m. class on a Saturday. That's
Saturday morning, 8 a.m. I was dedicated.
I was going to say, man, that is some serious dedication, because I don't know if I mean, I love doing it. I don't know. Missing out on all those parties and stuff. But hey, you know what?
It was one semester, one semester.
Okay, so you can make it through one semester. Yeah, because I don't even know if there were any Saturday classes where I went to school.
Well, this class was the only time it was available was Saturday at 8 a.m. Wow. So it was either suck it up and take the class, or you don't get it,
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was worth it. I was happy that I did. I was able to make a couple cool shorts, directed actors, and then also had the opportunity to be directed by the actors. So like the directors would act and direct.
Right.
And so it was a good opportunity to learn both sides of the camera. So I enjoyed that.
Cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I was So I mean, you've got a lot going on your website as far as, a lot of things you've been involved in. So, you've been involved in photography, you've been involved in some film and TV projects, you've been on camera, you do branded video content, but in particular, I was looking at your IMDb page, and you've got a pretty, nice amount of credits to your name here with some of the different things you worked on. I see you have an upcoming film, Finding Sandler as a writer. Is that where is that at? Is that out already, or is that still in pre-pro?
It's
What's going on?
no, it's actually a completed film.
Okay.
We're currently looking for distribution right now. In fact, I'm probably going to be releasing the new trailer within the next few weeks.
Oh, cool.
We've been working on a new trailer. There's an old trailer available on the internet for it, but the new one's a lot more, in depth and pumped up. Yeah, that was done like a while ago. I've been working on this movie Finding Sandler for about 15 years now.
Oh, wow. So what is this about? What's the synopsis?
So when I graduated college, which was 1998, I had luckily gotten a job on the movie Big Daddy, starring Adam Sandler. And growing up, Adam Sandler was one of my heroes. I looked up to him for so many different reasons. First off, you're not Jewish, but as a Jewish kid growing up, there were never any Hanukkah songs. It was always like Christmas songs, Christmas songs, And when he came out with that Hanukkah song, it actually made you feel cool to be Jewish. And so I loved him for that song. Right. It was really cool. And I'm not religious or anything, but just to have a song, cool. Not just a song, a really funny, clever, brilliant song.
Yes, it's a genius song. So it's genius. It's perfect.
So number one, that was awesome. Loved him, on Saturday Night Live, Opera Man, the Lunch Lady skits. He was great. And then, as he started making movies, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Wedding Singer, The Waterboy, all those movies were like my brand of comedy. And I loved them. And not only that, what I respected the most about Adam Sandler, and I think what really drew me to him more than anything, was that he works with all the same people on all his projects. He has a team, and that team obviously grew over time, but he works with friends. He works with people that he likes. It was always a goal of mine to be able to do the same exact thing. And so for those reasons, I was a huge Sandler fan. And when I heard about this movie, which actually was called Guy Gets Kid originally, and then they changed it to Big Daddy, and I found out that he was going to be the star of it, I was like, awesome. I got offered to be a production assistant, which is like a step above intern. And I was working for the costume designer, which is kind of funny because I'm colorblind and, fashion. I mean, look at me, I'm in a t-shirt, fashion isn't my thing.
Same boat.
Yeah. But, look, to be able to work on the movie, I would have taken any job. It didn't matter.
Right.
So
exactly.
So I got this job in the costume department. I was basically a production assistant that drove the costume designer around town in Manhattan, all over the place, to pick up wardrobe, to do this, to do that. And that was pretty much my job the whole time.
Right.
I would come out of Bloomingdale's lugging like bags and bags of like clothing, garment bag after garment bag, and
wardrobe and all that. Yeah, I know those.
Anyway, so the night of the Waterboy premiere, which was during the shooting of Big Daddy, it was actually November 4th, 1998.
Right.
Adam had asked the costume designer if he could wear some clothes from the set to the premiere. So it was like, 5:30 p.m., whatever. She comes over to me and says, "Hey, deliver these clothes to Adam's apartment. Just give them to the doorman. Drive home this other PA, this girl named Autumn, drive her home when you're done dropping off the clothes, take the car back to the studio, and then you could go home for the night." So I was like, okay, cool, you know?
Yeah.
So I Autumn hops in the car, we have the clothes, I pull up to the building, double park the car, throw the flashers on, "Hey, I'll be right back," go into the building, give the doorman the clothes. He's like, "Hey, just bring them up to Adam." I was like, okay, no big deal. I'll go bring him up. So I go up to Sandler's apartment, which is on like, I don't know, the 44th floor or some ridiculous high
Right, yeah.
floor. And I go, walk down the hallway, get to the door, knock on the door. From behind the door, all of a sudden I hear, "Who is it? What do you want?" I'm like, right there, I knew it was him messing with me. And I'm like, it's Dave. I'm just a PA here to deliver your clothes for the premiere. And I'm nervous. He's like my hero. Like,
Of course, yeah. I think anybody would be, yeah.
So all of a sudden, the guy opens the door. He's got this huge smile on his face, and he goes, "Hey, man, you want to come in and have a drink?" And I kind of froze for a second, and angel devil moment, like thoughts going in my head, like, devil all of a sudden pops in, "Do it, man. He's one of your heroes. Just do it." And then like the angel comes in and goes, "You can't. You got Autumn in the car. Your boss will fire you." And I kind of froze, and then I just said, I can't. I was like, I can't stay. I got Autumn in the car. I got to drive her home, and I didn't have a cell phone. I was a poor 22-year-old kid.
Right. It's not like
not a lot of people had cell phones back then, like that were poor.
Yeah.
And so so essentially I basically turned Adam Sandler down for a drink. I left and never got a chance to hang out with him again. So fast forward from that big daddy, big mistake moment in my life to 2006. I turned 30 that year. I turned 30 in January.
Right.
And for some reason over the summer, like in July, I just started having these nights where I would toss and turn in bed thinking about, what if I stayed and hung out with Adam Sandler? Like,
what if scenarios? Yeah.
Yeah. What if, what if would my life be any different? And maybe it wouldn't have been, maybe nothing would have happened, but
right.
You never know,
Yeah. You never know.
And so, and not necessarily even because of like, work related, but just to have that opportunity to be able to hang out with your hero and ask questions and to like learn how he got his start. And, you never know where the conversation would go. And it would have just been really cool to have that opportunity, which I completely blew. And so one night I actually had a dream. And in my dream, I went to California looking for Sandler. And in my dream, I ran into people from the set of Big Daddy and like, I'd be like, "Hey, can you help me find Adam Sandler?" Oh, and nobody wanted to help me. And then all of a sudden, I end up in what my vision of his production company was.
Right.
And I'm in the lunchroom and I'm sitting directly across from somebody and we're having a conversation. And there's Sandler, like opposite on a diagonal. And all of a sudden he starts talking to me. And then the next thing I knew, we were like walking and talking and I woke up. And at the time when I was 30, I was a producer at a local TV station on Long Island. And I also had a small production company where I would shoot these little corporate videos and sporting events all around the island. And I had a business partner.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 6 a.m. I call my business partner. He's sleeping. He answers the phone. "What's up?" I'm like, "I just had this dream. I want to make a movie. I want to go on a quest to find Adam Sandler and have the drink I passed up in 1998. And it's going to be called Finding Sandler." He goes, "Can we talk about this later?" I just 6 a.m. I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then I was completely crazy from this thing.
Right.
So I go into the office, to the TV station, and I was producing a cooking show at the time. And I had this one guy who was an assistant for me. His name was Vinny, and we were friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up to him and I was like, "Vinny, I just had this dream, and this is what I want to do." And he's like, "I'm in. Can I help you? What can I do to help?" And then I told the senior executive producer at the station, who was like the top, I wanted to talk to him. Would he be open to going to lunch?
Right.
I thought he would be like, "You're an idiot. Don't even think about doing this." I go to lunch with him. I tell him the whole story. He's like, "I don't like it. I love it. What can I do to help?"
All right.
I was like, "Oh, okay." So then all of a sudden people were like willing to help me.
Mm-hmm.
And we just started filming, just shooting whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when it started. And that's it. Yeah. So that's Finding Sandler in a nutshell.
Nice, man. So that's on. First of all, thanks for sharing that story, because that's a really cool story, and I can relate on some levels to that, because there's definitely been when you're in this business, right? I think for anybody that works in the entertainment field or producing content, whatever it is, you're gonna have your brushes with famous people, right? And so, and you learn very early on, like, you to be professional, you act cool. There's no like, because that's just not, that's just not like everybody's working. We're working, they're
Yeah, and
working.
they're humans. They're
And
they're they're just like you and I. They're just
right,
really wealthy.
right, exactly. You learn very fast to like check your ego and check your fan excitement at the door
Yes.
for the people. And so, for us, we used to do a lot of music videos. So we were always meeting people. And I've been in Tony Bennett and Sting and all these, Motley Crue. And I mean, we've met so many people and been around it. And you're just always cool. Like that's how you, and then you geek out later on in a car, like, holy shit, I can't believe, and so that situation though, like I definitely understand it because it's like, you say, "Hey, I want to take my shot here. Like, when is this going to happen again?" Right? As a person, that's a connection. Like, when are you going to have that connect? And it may not go anywhere, but you
Right.
never know. So, hey, the
Right.
5-10 minutes you have a drink, you BS, you talk, and maybe you share, oh, I had like this and like that, and hey, before you know it, you've got a small connection there, wherever it goes.
Yeah,
Or
or even just a
right,
buddy.
right,
You
just
know,
a buddy, or just even some great advice, which is always cool. Like
a
just
mentor, a
kind of
great advice.
right,
Any exactly. That's how I always looked at it,
yeah,
man. It was like, what kind of advice could I have gotten? What
right,
would he have told me that might have
right.
changed everything for me?
Right, what
Who
could
the
I have
hell knows?
learned from somebody like that who's been through
Yeah.
it and done a lot and seen a lot and worked his ass off to get to that point at that point too.
Yeah.
But then you're like, but hey, I'm a responsible person. I've got my colleague in the car, like she has no idea what's going on. She wants to get home. It's been a long day. I got
Yeah.
to drop the car back off, which isn't my car. Like you're on the job, so it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
there's a level of professionalism there. And so yeah, I would be it would be a choice for me too, where I would be grappling because I've definitely been in some of those situations. You're like, what, I gotta be like, hanging out late nights and being like after a shoot. And it's like I gotta get home. Like I got my wife and my at this time too when I was doing the music stuff. Like I had my first daughter was baby, and I was doing this stuff, and it's like, yeah, you can stay out a few nights and stay out late and hang out and connect, but you just gotta come home, and it's like, hey,
Yeah.
let's go out and let's do this, and you go, oh, I'm gonna hang out with this band but you're like, you know what? I gotta go home. Like I got a wife, I got a baby at home. Like, like, and so you get into like these the devil and angel on your shoulder, like, oh no, do it, no, don't be responsible. But I like the premise of that though. That here you are all these years later, still living. But I like how you've been able to turn that experience and that into like a story and yeah, and it plays it out like what if and you go through all these different alternate timelines of or alternate universes of what would have happened if you had done that.
Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Interesting thought. Yeah,
That was the whole point of it. And yeah, so long journey,
mm,
long process, but really happy to have a completed film. And I truly hope that it gets out there. I think
mhm.
you know uh, a lot of people have those what if moments in life, and it doesn't
Right,
even have to be with a celebrity. It could have
right,
been like, oh hey, um, I could have dated this girl, and
right.
who knows, or I could have dated this guy, and you know, uh,
Mm,
the way I have always equated, my situation is like somebody in like computers
yeah.
having a potential opportunity to have a conversation with Steve Jobs and hang out with him.
Right, right. You think
You know,
about that, like,
yeah,
if I had been an early investor in something like that.
yeah, and that's kind of how it's always equated to me.
Mm,
Um, and I hopefully a lot of people can relate. Hopefully the film gets out there and a lot of people get to see it, love it or hate it. It's a piece of work,
of
and
course.
it's a journey. So and you learn on these, on a film like this and something
Yeah,
that's taken this long that it's about the journey. It's not about the destination. And it's the people you meet and the people that support you and stand by you through thick and thin in a project like this, that you realize that's what matters.
yeah. No,
So
100%, 100%. I agree with that, and, it becomes more about that journey and the experience that you've had and being able to tell that story and share it with others. and hopefully people find, whatever, whether it's entertainment or inspiration or motivation or, helps them on their journeys, whatever they're doing. I mean, that's, this is why I love like being a creator, is being able to take things and turn it into something, like whatever that is, thoughts, ideas, experiences, like inspiration, and then create with that. And I've always loved that aspect of being a creator. And in your case, you're doing the same thing, and I love that, man.
Thank
So
you.
absolutely, 100%. So I know you have it in your name too, but davidsethcohen.com is the gateway into the David Seth Cohen universe, where
Yes.
you can basically get a hold of all of everything he's got going on there. And I'm going to share my screen really quick for those of you who are watching the video version of this. Of course, if you are listening to this, all the links will be in the show notes for everything that we've been talking about here today. David's different links to his website, his IMDb, link to the trailer that we were just speaking about. So you'll have access to all that. But if you head over to the website, you can catch all of the things that David's working on. So you've got Precision Pictures, right? This is your production
Yeah.
company?
Yeah. Yeah. I have two production companies. Precision Pictures is where I do like my branded video content stuff, and photography. And then there's Legitimate Rascal Films, which
Mhm.
is my film company. And the film company is the one that kind of houses Finding Sandler and stuff like that. I have another website, which is precisionpicturesonline.com.
Mhm.
And then, I'm also on Instagram. It's just Instagram is David Seth Cohen on Instagram, all one word. I'm on Facebook, David Seth Cohen, all one word.
Mhm.
I'm on LinkedIn, David Seth Cohen. And then Twitter, I don't really tweet that often, but Twitter is David Seth Cohen 1, the number 1. This is a funny commercial that I created with a buddy of mine. We tried to actually pitch this to Cheetos for the Super Bowl. Yeah, so
Nice.
fun spot. Yeah. I'm in it too. So I shot, produced, directed, and was in this.
Nice. Yeah, this looks
Yeah,
pretty cool. Yeah, so definitely for once again for everybody who's just listening to this, we're on David's website here, davidsethcohen.com, and just looking at some of the work that he's done, all the different things that he's created. We were watching some commercials that he's done. So you can check all this out by going over to his website, and he's got a bunch of tabs here like about him, branded video content. He's got photography, as David's also a professional photographer. And these photos are great, man. Great
thank
work,
you,
really cool stuff. Graphic
thank
and
you.
web design, film and TV projects, as of course we were just talking about, and a bunch of other resources that are all there. So you definitely want to head over there and make sure you show your support by giving him a follow as well. Follow him on all his social media accounts, and connect with David, connect with him here on LinkedIn. As I said, all the links will be available in the show notes. And if you're watching live, there's also links in some of the comments, things like that, on the post related to this video. Well, I can't believe we're like already blown through about 40 minutes of
Oh wow.
unreal, man. Unreal.
Yeah.
The time really does fly, but it has been awesome having you on. We're definitely gonna have to do a part 2 to this, because I don't even think we even scratched the surface of half of the different things that you're up to. But I'm glad we got at least a chance to talk about some like your background. I think is huge, because once again, I love hearing that, and I very similar parallel stories there. And then of course hearing about your film and the inspiration behind that is very, very cool. So make sure people Finding Sandler, definitely coming
Yeah.
soon. Are you guys gonna enter that into festivals? Or are you gonna do self-release? What's the plan?
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Mhm.
Submitting it to festivals, and trying to get a distribution angle. I don't think we're going to end up self-distributing it. I think
Mhm.
the goal is to find the proper distributor that will put the proper marketing and advertising into it, and
Mhm.
really get it out there. I mean, I think it's a film that Sandler is a huge star. I mean, he's got over 20 million followers.
Yeah.
I'm assuming a lot of Sandler fans are going to want to see this kind of movie. And so, obviously the goal is to target Sandler fans, target filmmakers, young filmmakers, that kind of stuff. But I think the movie hopefully resonates with people of all ages. I've shown some clips to friends' kids, and they seem to love it. So, we'll see. I don't really know the answer to all these questions yet, but I really do hope it gets out there on a nice size scale, and a lot of people get to see it. So.
Yeah, well, hey, that's the goal, right? Create a film and get people to see it.
Exactly.
Ultimate goal. Well, David, thanks, man. I really appreciate you coming on today, spending some time with us, filling everybody in on what's going on. And I just want to say real quick, we got Gabe checking in. Hello, everyone. So what is up?
Hey, what's up, Gabe?
How are you?
And thank you, Chris, for having me on the show. You're doing a really great job with this thing, man. I love the format, the layout, everything looks really cool. Congratulations. I know this was like a new kind of thing for you with the pandemic. I remember you telling me. So
yeah.
Congratulations on all your success with this podcast. And
thank you.
The fact that you're doing something like this is super cool in itself. So really happy to be on, and really enjoyed the chat. Thank you.
Oh, 100%, man. Yeah, we're definitely doing this again. So I'm not going to let that easy. We're definitely going to get a part 2 to this conversation.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I want to thank everybody so much for watching live and hanging out with us today. And thanks to everybody that will watch the replay of this video later on. And of course, all of you who are listening to the audio version of this, which you can always listen to anywhere you listen to podcasts, particularly Apple, Spotify, all those fine places. Please do me a favor, and a great way to support the show. Actually, there's 2 really cool ways you can support the show. One is hitting that subscribe button, so that way you get notified every single time I drop a new episode on the audio platforms. And also, too, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button there, or hit follow wherever you're watching this, on LinkedIn or Twitter, wherever you're getting that. That's a really big help for me, helps grow the show, also helps the guests I have on. So those are great ways to subscribe and share. Also, hey, we got to pay some bills around here too. So if you'd be so kind, head over to buymeacoffee.com/cvaglio. You can once again hit these links in the show notes. Over there, feel free to buy me a coffee. Set whatever price you want there, and it really does help the show, because there are some costs associated with producing this show. And just some quick stuff is we got Gabe. Hey, Chris Vaglio, loving the conversation and need to connect with David. Well, Gabe, make sure you do that. If you're watching on LinkedIn, it's all tagged up. Connect with David right here on LinkedIn for sure. You can get a hold of him. I don't think you're not that hard to find, buddy.
No, just Google me. Just Google my name.
Just Google him. And if you're on LinkedIn already, you'll definitely get a hold of him there. And before we wrap it all up, also, if you are interested in doing any kind of business coaching or consulting with me, feel free to head over to the letsrockgroup.com. That is my brand new, new-ish group coaching community that I created, which if you join, anytime you join, it includes a 7-day free trial for you to watch videos, interact with the community, read and download any content you want. You have 7 days to do that before you're charged a single thing. So you do get a 7-day free trial immediately when you sign up for that. Head over to letsrockgroup.com. And I also want to thank my title sponsor, 7 days of simple podcast marketing, kerryzarb.com/resources. Once again, 7 days, simple podcast marketing, kerryzarb.com/resources. If you want to become a better podcaster or just start podcasting for the first time. So awesome, everybody. Well, have an amazing rest of the day. David, thank you once again for being my guest. Really appreciate the conversation, and love having you on here, brother.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you again. And always remember, be authentic, be yourself, and always remember to rock it.